Welcome back to Podcast Recovery, everyone. We're your hosts, David O.
And Eric V.
And today we're joined by a very special guest, Pat C. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to be here. This is actually my first podcast.
Dope.
I never done a podcast.
Yes. Awesome. Breaking the cherry. And the weather's finally turning, so it's a good day. It's good.
Absolutely.
When were you first, or where are you from?
I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I grew up in a little community on Washington Boulevard called Morrow Park.
Oh, okay. So you and Allison, right in the same area.
Absolutely, yeah. Right between Baltimore counties, right here, and on the city line, basically.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And when were you first introduced to recovery?
I was introduced very young because there was a Narcotics Anonymous meeting right behind the Dunkin' Donuts on Washington Boulevard. Mm-hmm. So, I would say around 15, 16 years old. Yeah.
Good God. And how long have you been clean?
I've been clean this 8 years.
Nice. All right. Well, with all that out of the way, I'm going to turn it over to you. Share your story with us. Take it away, bro.
Absolutely. So my name's Pat. I'm in long-term recovery. I'm just, really grateful today. Every day is a good day that I wake up and I don't have to, put one in me or try to find a way to get one more. Mm-hmm. But I grew up in Southwest Baltimore. I grew up in a fatherless home. My mom suffered from the disease of addiction as well. So very young, I was introduced to the negative consequences of the disease of addiction. I seen it firsthand. I seen what it could do to a family. I would say I grew up in pretty much a dysfunctional family.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 other siblings.
Okay.
My brother is deceased. We lost him years back to a heroin overdose. Mm-hmm. So I witnessed that firsthand. I found him. So that's like a trauma that I dealt with, still to today.
Yeah.
So, the community I grew up in, it was evident. It was all around us. Mm-hmm. I was that person. I always told myself I would never be like them people because I seen the consequences of it. But I became that person.
Yep.
Yeah. Early on, I was introduced very young. I would say I was probably around 11 years old when I first smoked marijuana. Mm-hmm. I still can remember the first time I took a drink. What
was your first drink?
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels, that's strong, man.
Like straight off,
that's strong.
Ugh.
Yeah, like straight off the back, like Jack Daniels. Like skip the beer, the wine coolers, like straight Jack Daniels.
Yep.
So me and my buddies, we used to go to this guy Ben's house, and we would go over there swimming, and he used to always show off this huge bottle of this Jack Daniels in his closet.
One of the big bigs?
One of the big ones, yeah.
Ooh.
So basically what happened was his family went away for the weekend. His mom, I believe, went to Ocean City, Maryland. And we were like, hey, let's drink this.
Well, yeah, what's up?
And he was like, well, my mom's going to kill me. My mom's going to kill me. But I believe he was like showing us, to try to fit in. And, yeah. And so we drank it. And I could remember, the first time. The feeling that it gave me. First, it was the taste. It tastes like shit.
Jack Daniels is horrendous. What was your first drink? I can't remember.
It was like some terrible vodka, like some like.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
It was like $6 for a fifth, and then like Natty Light.
Yeah.
So vodka and Natty Light.
There you go.
Little combo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's pretty normal.
The poor man's drink.
Yeah. The suburban starter. The suburban starter.
That was
pack
a very much. We were going to a dance,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was our starter pack for that. But Jack Daniels at 11,
that's strong.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. I was like Malibu and Mike's Hard Lemonade.
How strong? Because that just tastes like motor oil going straight into your mouth.
Yeah,
it's bad. It's strong.
Yeah, it was really bad. But I can remember the feeling that it gave me because I suffer from, still do today. I got better with it through my process, but I always suffer from low self-esteem, low self-worth. So I can remember what happened was it was like I found the elixir of life, like the cure. And the best to describe it, it was like Clark Kent went into the phone booth and he came out as Superman. And I felt like I was Superman. You know, I got that confidence. And I really, you know, I was like, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
Because it took me outside of myself. But then eventually, you know, years down the road, it was like I crossed that imaginary line and it stopped becoming fun. Mm-hmm. And the consequences really started to show up.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. And then it just, you know, progressed, you know, throughout the years. You know, I went to, you know, start smoking marijuana. The next thing you know, I'm a low down bottom dope fiend. Didn't take too long. I would say around 17 is when I really hit my bottom. You know, my family got together and they were like, you're going to go live with your dad. And mind you, my dad, he was never really in my life because he was a suffering addict as well. And he pretty much chose, you know, alcohol and drugs over his family. And I held on resentments for that for many years. And I always told myself, what would I do if I did see him? Because of all the anger that was built up inside. And one day it came. I was in a Fresh Start program called in the Living Classrooms Foundation. Great program down in Fells Point. You know, they help a lot of inner city youth. And what happened was he had a close to death experience as a result of drinking and hepatitis C, cirrhosis of the liver. He was pretty much on his deathbed, so he wound up getting sober, and I guess he was like, I have kids.
Yeah.
You know, and he reached out to my sister first, and you know, I was angry about it, but you know, I was able to, you know, kind of forgive him. Not fully forgive him. I still held on to a lot of resentments, and so what happened was
there some understanding there? Because like you were using at that point, and you knew he was using, so it was just like, it's kind of out of his control to an extent.
More of, you know, when I got clean back in 2015, you know, especially in my 4th step, in the 12-step fellowship, I was able to see, I kind of understood it. Yeah. So it was easier for me to let it go as a person that suffered from the same dilemma. Yeah. But then I moved to a place called Sarasota, Florida. It's where the Baltimore Orioles spring training camp is.
Hell yeah.
And
they're down there right now?
Yeah, they're down there right now. I'm doing pretty good this year.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited for the season.
Hell yeah.
But I went down there, and it was weird because it was like a man that looked like me, but I knew nothing about him. And what happened was he had drugs down there. Yeah. So I went down there to kick heroin, and I substituted one drug for another. And next thing you know, I'm out there in Sarasota, walking up the street where I think it's going to be. And, you know, I was really start smoking crack cocaine. And it just really got out of hand. You know, he started drinking again, and he gave me $50 and put me on a bus back to Baltimore. And it didn't take long. As soon as I got off the bus, went straight to, you know, to the dope hole.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. How bad was, because how long is that bus trip? Like 13, 14 hours?
Longer than that, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
you're stopping along the way.
Yeah, because you're stopping a long way. So probably like a whole day and a half, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Dude,
about 24 hours, and we stopped in a lot of cities. And what's crazy is
that had to be fucking miserable.
They have everything you need at every bus stop, from sleeping medication to cocaine to pills. You know, they try to sell you everything, and so you stop and take breaks. You know, like Fayetteville, North Carolina, many different stops on the way. It's brutal.
That had to be a brutal trip.
Yeah, definitely. It's brutal. God. But that's what I did. Wish he would have got me a plane ticket, but, you know.
He ain't springing for that much money?
No, and I stole from him, you know. So he was very upset about that. So I'm glad he got me a bus ticket. Yeah. Yeah, so, and, you know, it just started all over again because I didn't understand, you know, the disease of addiction, you know, that I truly believe in. I didn't really understand it, and I wasn't treating it. And what I was doing, what happened was I was going around in the same community with the same people that I use with. Yep. But it was like never, like for me, I would never go around the people that were considered, you know, that people consider them crackheads or dope fiends, and, you know, the people that are really in the grips of addiction. What I would do, I would go around people that I thought was normal. And I would go around them, and a lot of them drank.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I could drink.
Okay.
And what happened was, it didn't last long. Then I would be right back out there with other people.
Well, that's why alcohol is the sneaky one, because like it's quote unquote socially acceptable. You see everybody doing it. The dealer's on every fucking corner.
Yep.
In neon lights, and you're like, oh yeah, I can have a little. But like, yeah, my grand sponsor always told me, he was like, listen, my decision making sucks when I'm completely sober, and then you add alcohol on top of that, then all bets are off.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely socially acceptable. It has the bright lights out front of the things, and it's on every corner. Mm-hmm. But the reality of it is, on my way to, get some heroin in the morning, I would go past the little liquor store on Wilkins Avenue called the Pop Shop, and there would be a guy out there, or a couple guys out there, laying out there, in feces and pissing herself, waiting for the liquor store to open up.
Oh, yeah.
Then I would go a little bit farther up. I would go down to Monroe Street. Then there would be the same people, not different people. They were just looking for another substance, and they will be out there shitting on themselves and laying out there waiting for the dope boys to come out. So it all brings us to the same place, destruction.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And so I tried different things. I tried the faith-based. I wind up going to after I left, came back from Sarasota, Florida. I wind up going to a faith-based organization down in Capitol Heights, Maryland, and it worked for me. It kept me. I didn't pick up no drugs or alcohol, for many years, and I wind up going to Los Angeles, California through them, Pennsylvania.
This is probably the most well-traveled using story I've ever heard. You're in Sarasota, LA.
Yeah. And I was down in Tijuana, Mexico, but I wasn't using. But it was crazy.
Wait, you're the one person that went to Tijuana and didn't fucking use?
I did not use. I had a girl down there and in Tijuana, Mexico, and that was an experience.
Oh, I'm sure.
Even for someone coming from Baltimore City.
Oh, hell yeah.
It was crazy. I remember crossing the border. I was so nervous.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot different down there. It's so easy you just walk in there. The only interaction I had with their border and customs is they have this metal table, and what happens, they call you over and you put your suitcase or your luggage or whatever, bags or whatever, you put it on the table and you push a button. If it's red, they search you. If it's green, they let you go.
That's it. It's just random. It's just totally random. Yeah. I guess that's fair.
It's
that's
fair. Yeah. It's no coming back.
No profiling.
Yeah, no profile. Well, they pretty much profiled me. Probably they were like, this guy looks out of place. He's not from here. He's bringing a bag back in. And that's what they were looking for. Because a lot of money and guns go back into Mexico. That's what comes from this country. So that's probably why, they might have profiled me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can remember the experience. You just walk down and you go through them turnstile gates, one-way gates, and it was split off. And I was so nervous. I was like, which one do I go through? Do I take this path or take this path? And I wound up going through the gate, and people were coming up to me, and, trying to sell me everything. Taxi, girls, cocaine, marijuana. Then you look over and there's a McDonald's. And it's a pharmacy, the iconic pharmacy that you can go in and pretty much get everything right there. And people were coming up, and I wound up getting pickpocketed.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, my wallet was gone.
Yeah.
Because there was so many people. They were bumping into me, and I was down in Mexico with no identification, no money. And it was pretty crazy.
Hell yeah.
I had to call.
That'd be terrifying.
Yeah, I had to call good old mom, and Mom, I need some Western Union to get home.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get stuck in Tijuana, Mexico. But great people down there. I felt very comfortable. Family culture. I really enjoyed myself down there.
Nice.
I didn't see what the news says, about the cartels, and they're definitely down there. But, but I never experienced that. I never was messed with. They treated me, besides getting my wallet taken. But that was an experience, so I went out there for a little bit. I went to a ministry institute out there. Then I had the idea that I'm coming back to my old neighborhood, and I'm going to help everybody out, and I'm going to fix the neighborhood. So my best intentions, I had really good intentions. You know, I was very involved with the church. They actually had my picture on the wall, you know, like my testimony. They were like so proud of me. And so I came back to the old neighborhood and I did good for a while. And, you know, I wanted to like get a building. But the problem is, you know, I have a disease and so, you know, that's cunning, baffling, and insidious. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was, I was like, okay, that man turned water into wine in the book, you know, so I could drink wine. You know, it's good. If he made it, it's good.
Jesus, I mean, what would Jesus do? You know, some fish, bread, and wine.
Yeah, definitely. And so I would justify it, and my best intentions, I was like, I'm not going to drink the strong stuff because it says
just one.
Just one.
Just one.
And next thing you know, I left that Bible behind that I carried around. And yeah.
I'm assuming you were raised Catholic.
I was definitely raised Catholic.
Okay. Yeah.
But mom only took us to church. We went Easter and Christmas Eve probably.
Yeah.
And if a cousin had a first communion or
we have a ton of Catholics on this show, surprisingly.
I know, it's crazy.
Well, Maryland's a Catholic state.
It is.
Like most people don't realize.
It is. I mean, we can't buy alcohol on Sundays.
Yeah, we're strong. The first Catholic diocese is Baltimore.
No.
And you also
in the United
can't
States.
buy alcohol in grocery stores or liquor or like gas stations. It's really an inconvenience.
For how much heroin and crack and everything we have around, like, we're kind of strict on alcohol.
Well, I think they got rid of that one rule too, where you couldn't sell alcohol like within a certain amount of distance to a church or a school.
Oh yeah,
because I remember Catonsville Gourmet.
Yeah, they definitely.
I think they got rid of it, but Catonsville Gourmet couldn't sell alcohol for like years.
Wow.
They were BYOB because they're like 25 feet from a church. But this place across the street could because they're like just far enough.
But you could drink wine for communion. No.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's all
And
right.
then you're eating crackers too, right? Because that's like
the blood and the body.
and the body of Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure I didn't go to church.
Okay, so anyway, back to you.
Yeah, so what happened? Yeah, I went back out there, and it really got really bad. And my sister actually really helped me out. So what happened was I was in my local Royal Farms. And,
The sister that's in NA now?
Yes. You know, I was in the local Royal Farms, and I was taking their stuff, you know, I will admit that, you know, but they didn't like that I was taking their stuff, and they pretty much told my sister, like, if you don't get your brother, then, you know, we want to call the police. And so she went looking for me, and I went down to the bottom of the hill and went in the store and bought one of them roses out of the store.
Ooh,
yeah. It's crazy, you know, how they
just
can get away.
a little bit of choy and some
Yeah.
What's this supposed to be used for?
Yeah. Anybody that's not from Maryland probably doesn't understand that reference. But yeah.
Yeah, so I wound up seeing her coming in, so I was like hiding behind like the shelving down there in the store. And people were looking at me like, what is this guy doing? Like, is he about to steal from me? And so what happened, she left the store, and I didn't waste no time because I was trying to the session and compulsion and getting one more and going to cop, you know, it was like raging in my mind. And so what happened, she wound up coming back into the store for something. And my own sister looked me dead in my eyes and said, Pat. She was looking at me. She was like, Pat, is that you? My own sister. That's just, you know, the outward consequences, you know, the weight loss. I just didn't look at myself. I was sick, malnourished, and my own sister that I lived with and grew up with had to ask me if that's your brother.
Yeah.
You know, and so she came up with a scheme, manipulation. She was like, my sponsor needs help moving furniture, and her sponsor lives out here in Catonsville. So I was like, okay, she's going to pay me. I think it was like $50. And so I went out there. And we didn't pull up in her sponsor's driveway. We pulled up in the driveway next door. And I was like, what is going on? Why didn't you pull in this driveway? And I knew something was kind of going on. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. She was like, well, my boss lives here, which he did. And so she took me back around the house. And they had, like, you know, like the foldable chairs. They slide in the bag, like camping chairs.
Yeah.
And there was, like, set up kind of like in a circle. And I was like, what
meeting?
Intervention?
intervention?
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
A real intervention?
A real intervention. No, it wasn't like the show, like the cameras.
No. But still, there's a bunch of people sitting down, and you're kind of walking in, and you're being like, "Wait, what the fuck is this?" Like,
Well-
kind of backing up a little bit.
Well, there was no one out there, but a guy came out, and this guy, he became monumental in my recovery. Still in my life today, it was a guy named Mike McFadden.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mike McFadden came out.
I need to get him on the podcast. Mike would be great.
Yeah, so, you know,
He's so good at drywall.
he is the best drywall.
Yeah,
he
he's
makes
the best
shitty and
drywall
pretty.
guy around here.
I've
So if
never
we did-
seen someone do that. Like, just swap.
Yeah, he's nuts.
And they took me to a place down in West Baltimore, the Turk House. And I was thinking, please don't take me. Because it was like I was willing. If they were going to take me, I was going to go. I was so tired and sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Oh, yeah.
But in my mind, I was like, okay, I think it was like a Friday. And I knew somebody was getting paid or
Yeah.
something. And I was going to miss out on something. So, like, one foot was in and the other foot wasn't.
That's an amazing way of thinking. Someone's getting paid. I'm gonna miss out on their thing.
Absolutely.
So Friday was still a big day for you,
Friday was a big day.
even though
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not your money. You know, other
It's somebody's fucking money.
Somebody goes out and works all week, and
That's hilarious.
I want to benefit off their hard labor.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So I would go hang out in front of the bar because I know if they get
as
a
soon
little
as
drunk
they
enough,
start getting
Yeah.
drunk,
they're
you're
gonna say,
like,
"I'm trying to
yeah.
go get one." And where I grew up in Morrow Park, it was a lot of bars and liquor stores. I think like probably in a 1 mile stretch, it was probably, I would say, 8 to 10 bars and liquor stores. They were like on every corner, you know, and so there was a lot of opportunities out there.
Oh, yeah.
And I was the person, you know, people could trust because I was a honest crackhead.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and so they didn't take me, but they had a bed for me 10 days later. It's not like treatment is today where people you could ring a door, go to the firehouse, push a little button, and they get you somewhere. You know, Anne Arundel County, they have the safe stations, which is great. So anyone,
really?
yeah, so,
I didn't know about that.
yeah, so every firehouse, and pretty much every firehouse I have seen in Anne Arundel County has it's called a safe station. So you can go there pretty much any hours of the night. You push the button, they bring you in. I guess they get some information. I took people there plenty of times, you know, people that needed help. But then they get a crisis worker from Anne Arundel County, and they get you in somewhere pretty much
that's
that
dope.
night.
That's fucking awesome.
yeah.
I'd never heard of that.
Yeah, so it's great. Anne Arundel County is the only county in Maryland that I know does that.
I always see the statistics next to the firehouses. That's
Yeah.
what I'm used
Yeah.
to seeing for whatever the county is.
Yeah, so but 10 days later, I wind up getting into the Turk House. I'm forever grateful for the Turk House. You know, they do have a bad reputation, but they truly saved my life.
Yeah.
Great program. And I think the bad reputation comes from people that just you know, make excuses and stuff like that because
Yeah,
they treated.
I don't know why Turk House would have a bad reputation because there's literally hundreds of people in the area who that's part of their story.
Yeah, so I went through there and I was introduced to the you know, the concept of one addict helping another, and they really helped me out because, you know, when you're out there, like, I was always a heavier guy, and my clothes stopped fitting me, you know, really quick. You know, I got really skinny. So the guy told me, he was like, "Man, we need to get you some clothes." He said, because I had like these American Eagle shorts. And he's like, that it looks like you have a tablecloth wrapped around you. It was like a plaid pattern. Like,
Oh, yeah,
it
yep.
would be like a picnic tablecloth
Yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
put down on the ground. And so they really came together within the community and was like, we need to get this guy some clothes. And they did. And I was like, wow, you know, because when I was out there on the streets, it wasn't really like that.
No.
People weren't really sharing like that. You know, people, they weren't helping you like that. And I was introduced to Alcoholics Anonymous. They came in, and Narcotics Anonymous came in. And it was, you know, I heard a message. This guy, he's a very good friend of mine today. He gave the message. He said, everything I had went into the cooker.
Who was it?
It was William V.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
yeah.
You need to get him on the show.
I know. Yeah, he's Ron B's sponsor.
Yeah. So he definitely is.
Yeah.
He used to bring the meeting in, and it seemed like he was the only person that came in. He would always bring people in, but it seemed like he did it like every week, and that really hit me. And I was like, wow, something so small has such power over my life.
Oh yeah.
And he gave me a shot of hope. And for many years, I was looking for him in meetings because I knew he was in Narcotics Anonymous program, and I was looking for him in meetings. But one day, I went to his home group, and I looked at him, and I was like, that's that guy. And I walked up to him, and I said, what is it you're saying? Because I wanted to know if it was really him. Mm-hmm. And I said, and he pretty much told me everything I had went into the cooker. Mm-hmm. I was like, you used to do the H&I at the Turk House, and it was him. And I was like, you truly, you gave me that shot of hope. And I want to thank you for that. And this was like 5 years since I've been in recovery.
And he's got like 30-something?
Yeah. Just be, like when we do, like go into these places, because I volunteer for my fellowship, you never know the impact you're going to have on someone.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he had an impact on me, and I was introduced, even though I was introduced to NA and AA years, but I just went in there just to get a little rest and drink their coffee. I did hear a message, but I wasn't willing. I really didn't think I had a problem back then. So that's where I really listened. I started listening. And it was like that moment of clarity for me. And I never looked back. I went through the Turk House August 21st, 2015. Even though my clean date, because I came there on the maintenance program, and I wound up getting off of that. It was through
methadone or subs.
Methadone. I was on methadone. I was on
worse.
I was on the Cherry Hill program.
Oh yeah, I've taken people Cherry Hill.
So I came off of it 1 milligram every day. I don't recommend that. I'm not a doctor or nothing, but from my experience, it was pretty rough. And my last drop was Christmas Eve, so that's why I recognized my clean date.
6 months isn't too bad.
No, that's not bad.
That's pretty. That sounds better than some of the some of the people who had to
Jack's
out
run on methadone.
Yeah, well, I didn't come off of it right away.
Yeah. That's good.
Because I was scared. I was, I'm a withdrawal pussy. I heard the stories. I've been down central bookings with guys because back then they weren't medicating people. Yeah, man. And, but I didn't sleep for like 3 months.
The restlessness. And
all
that,
it was pretty brutal. But once I started feeling better, I had a really good perspective on life, and it really hit me. It was like, I'm waking up in the morning and I don't need to go to no clinic. I don't need to go wait in that line. And
you gave the best goddamn gift to yourself, and you didn't even realize it.
Absolutely, best
on Christmas, yeah,
yeah, man. And so that's just my experience. And I came to the 12-step fellowship. One of my first meetings in this area in the West Side, because I was going to a couple Baltimore Poplar Grove. It's about change. It's in a Catholic church. And so I
think they all are.
Yeah, or in the church basement. But this one was like in the church. It was like it was like the front part of the church, and like
the sanctuary.
Sanctuary is like right up in the front behind you.
When it's in the sanctuary.
Yeah, it is nice. Although Jesus staring at me in some of those pictures kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I'm like, dude, you're always staring at me, dude.
You ever notice like most churches like where they have like NA meetings, they always have like a cross or something behind us.
And like stained glass, and Jesus just beckoning you, like, "Hey, I'm here, buddy."
Yeah, it's like, do they put it there on purpose? Behind us. But yeah, so I really got involved, and but my first meeting in the Catonsville West Side area was October 31st, 2015. And the reason I remember that is because, Mike Mike told me, he was like, yeah, you can catch the bus out here. There's a bus that runs up 40 or bus that runs up Frederick, because I didn't have no car back then. I was still in treatment, but I got on that bus. And he was like, yeah. And so I got off the bus on like Rolling Road, and I think it's like Old Frederick. And he was like, and I walked all the way down Rockwell, straight down Rockwell. It was like, it seemed like forever.
Yeah. Where'd you go? Edmondson or Rolling?
No, I went to, not Emerson and Rolling. I went to, Let Go That Guy Saturday.
Oh, yeah,
night.
West.
That was your home group, right?
It was my home group.
You were I think I went to your year anniversary.
Probably crazy.
I think I did.
Probably.
Because I remember were you also the secretary of that group for a little while?
I have secretary there, yes. Definitely set the chairs up.
Weird.
But when I got there was no one there, but there was a guy in a Grim Reaper costume. And that guy was Jason J.
That's it, Jason.
Jason J.
Yeah.
He was the Grim Reaper because it was Halloween and he was dressed up and he had a sickle.
Fun.
He had a sickle. It wasn't like one of them plastic toy sickles. It was a real sickle.
Jason J would have that.
He does live next to a butcher. So
Yes, he does.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that
Yes,
makes
he
sense.
does. And so I'm like, what the heck did they got me
Where
going
the
to? Like,
fuck did I come?
like, what is this place? Like, am I going to a cult?
Yeah, right.
Like, they got a guy dressed up as the Grim Reaper. And I'm trying to save my life, and I'm walking into death. But Jason J was like, help me set these chairs up. He didn't say,
Oh, Jason didn't ask. He was like, help me some of these chairs up, man.
And I set them chairs up for about 5 years, every Saturday, faithfully. I would get there early because, I've learned very on, people that are involved in service, stay clean, and it takes a lot more than that. But I started looking around and I was looking at the people that have been here for a while, and a lot of them are involved in service in some capacity.
Yeah.
But I wind up, I left that home group, not because it was a bad home group. It's because my old neighborhood, I was going to that meeting right there on Washington Boulevard. It's a choice. We were meeting there right behind Dunkin' Donuts. And I was going there
from the beginning of your story.
Yes.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle. And I'm going to tell you, it really goes full circle. I'm going to tell you guys. So we were there, and I was running into people that I used with. And I seen this girl, and she was a heavier girl. And we would always go to Dunkin' Donuts to get coffee. And I was walking back, and I heard, Pat. And I'm looking over, and I don't recognize this person. And it was one of my really good friends growing up, and she was out there, prostituting, shooting cocaine, and it just didn't look like her. And it really broke my heart. And right there, I was like, I need to make this my home group. And I was seeing other guys and other people, and just talk about the attraction rather than promotion. And I was like, okay, I need to make this my home group. And it's still my home group today, but we moved to a couple different locations because of COVID. The church shut down, and they were like, you can't meet here no more. So we moved to this other church. That church shut down. And now we are in the church that I grew up in, the church I was baptized in.
Nice.
The church, my family grew up in. And I went there on Easter and Christmas, and if a cousin had a first communion, or if a cousin got baptized. And that's where my home group is, in that church.
Hell yeah.
I celebrated, usually never, I would always invite, my mother and my sister. But I invited, my aunt. She grew up in that church too. And I invited her to this anniversary, and it was real powerful, But I, owe it to, Narcotics Anonymous, the path that I chose, the path, there's multiple pathways out there. That's why when I, introduced myself, I said I'm in long-term recovery, because what happens is if people hear I'm an addict, they automatically assume that they can't identify. But I recognize that there is multiple pathways. I just chose the pathway of NA because that's where I felt a part of. I went to the AA, and I really felt like I couldn't share. I always got something out of the messages. Great fellowship. It has a really good atmosphere when you walk in. But I seen a guy get shut down by an old timer in Canton, because he was talking about drugs too much. And right there, I was like, oh, this isn't for me. But it works for, many, many others. And if it wasn't for that fellowship, NA would have never been birthed, But yeah, so life is a lot different for me today. I've really found out about myself through these last 8 years because I grew up in an environment, a neighborhood, like you had to be one way. And if you strayed from that way, you would be made fun of.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was in that Fresh Start program that I was talking about. And I remember they made us tuck our shirts in, but one day I didn't untuck my shirt. That's, and I got off that bus and everybody was making fun of me and stuff like that. And how something so positive, so positive in my life, people made fun of that. And, but through recovery, I've really found out who I am. I'm still learning.
Oh, yeah.
I'm finding out what I like, what I dislike, what works for me. I picked up a hobby, which is fishing. Very, very expensive hobby.
What's the biggest fish you ever caught?
So biggest fish that I ever caught, freshwater fish.
She was down in Tijuana. I had reeled her in.
Yeah. But no, I was in, actually, this is a crazy story. I found this place by chance. So I was at a men's retreat, me and a guy I sponsor, Ryan, and we were in Topsail Beach, North Carolina. It's actually spelled Top Sal. But they don't call it Top Sal, they call it Topsail. So I was down a men's retreat that I go to called the Lost Boys.
Nice.
Very, very relaxing. Fellowship with the men, the good old boys down in North Carolina. So we were coming back up and we were like, we're going to find some places. And how I find, just a little pro tip, Google Maps, when you're driving down the street, you can see bodies of water and you're like, that probably is pretty good. And so we ended up, we stopped in a place called Wilson, North Carolina, Lake Wilson.
Yep.
Didn't catch anything. Beautiful. We got some pictures.
Oh, yeah.
So we kept driving and I used Waze, and they took us off the 301 and we ended up in this place. I'm not gonna give my fishing spots up.
No, you can't give up the honey hole, dude.
But it was close to Kings Dominion, very close to Kings Dominion.
Richmond area.
Yeah. But so we're going back and we find we're in this little town. Not many people around. And I seen these places and we caught a couple fish, but it was getting late. And we said we need to get on the road because it was a Sunday and I had to work the next morning. So we're riding up. And next thing you know, it was like I seen like this lake pond. It was like kind of swampy because Virginia is there's a lot of swampy area.
Yep.
And I seen this place that had lily pads, and I was like, I'm just going to go check it out and put a pin on it with Google Maps because I pin all my locations. Another tip, if you see a spot, pin it, come back to it. And so my buddy, the guy I sponsor, he was like, let's take our rods, 5 casts. And so I was like, okay, and so we go there. He casts his first time and he gets a chain pickerel. It's not really big. I cast, it was either my first or second time. I believe it might have been a second cast. And what happened was I caught the biggest bass of my life.
Hell yeah.
Within 5 minutes.
Nice.
So I knew this spot was fire. And so wind up, wasn't able to weigh it, but I did get a picture. And luckily, he did take a picture because he went to get the scow out of the car and the fish got off and went back in. I would have been devastated if I at least didn't have a picture. And so we went back down there a couple weeks later and come to find out it's a federal property, Army base. And we knew, I'm not going to lie, we kind of knew we could be, but we didn't see any signs. So where I come from,
so we're good.
We're good.
Yeah,
No
we're good to
signs.
go.
But there was a sign there, but it was blocked by the trees. And how we went in around it. And it was the best fishing day of my life.
Nice.
We were just catching on one after another, until my buddy looks at me and he goes, points his head up. And it's a DNR, federal DNR agent, from the base.
Yeah.
And he's like, fishing license and driver's license. But luckily, I try to follow laws and be a productive member of society and respect.
Yeah.
So I did get a 1-day fishing license.
Oh, nice.
It probably would have been worse if I didn't have a fishing license.
He would have
yeah,
fucked
yeah.
you.
Yeah. And so he was like, you're trespassing on federal property. You didn't see the sign? And we were like, no. Then he pointed to the sign. I said, well, we walked around it and a tree was blocking it. So what he did, he just wrote an incident report, just took her information and said, don't come back on here.
Yep.
But what he
You've
did,
been warned.
But what he did tell me, he was like, there's a way to get on this base, and you have to go to like this app, then you have to do like a background check. Mm-hmm. And you know, the part of me, it was like, they were not going to let me on this federal base.
They'll let you on, dude. Like, do you have felonies or anything?
Yeah, so my first charge as an adult was a felony. So I was
but you're older now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got gray in your beard. Like,
yeah, definitely. I got the gray. I didn't have that when I first got clean, but we aged around here.
Oh, yeah.
And so I wind up, I did it anyway. And I was like, I've been doing good all these years. It was 7 years. I had about 7 years clean, and they approved me. And that was like an aha moment. It was like, wow. That was like a wow moment for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have a record, but I haven't been arrested since 2006.
Yeah, that's a long
Yeah.
time,
No, that's a long
dude.
time.
That's almost 20 years.
Yeah, 2006 was the last time I was arrested. And so it really was an aha moment for me. You know, kid from Southwest Baltimore, never really been to a whole lot of places in my life, but outside of like Ocean City. And I did go to Florida, and I'm on this Army base all by myself.
I do like that you went to where the O's play. So,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
so-
you live in Baltimore, and you're like, you know what? I'm following them.
Yeah, definitely. I had the best intentions to get to a spring training game, but never made it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I like to do today. You know, help people, you know, sponsor guys. I go to meetings regularly, you know, work steps. You know, that's how I treat my disease. But I love fishing, and that's my, you know, my therapy.
Hell yeah.
Good
Yeah.
meditation.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely got some questions for you. Eric, would you like to go first?
Sure. Go first. So both your parents are addicts. Is your dad still with you or with us, or is he, like you said, he has cirrhosis?
Yeah. So, okay. So when I left Florida, I never talked to him ever since.
Really?
And so when I got clean, I would say I might have had about a week, 10 days. It was all blurred to him. He wound up passing away. So that was a rough stretch for me.
Yeah.
You know, they say 3 deaths. So I lost my dad, and I lost his sister. She lived down in Sarasota. And I got to know her as well. Then I lost my cat. So he is no longer with us.
Did you say your cat?
Yeah, my cat.
That would be the worst for me.
It was the worst for me.
Yeah.
Because I was very close to her. I didn't really know
You
my
know your dad or
my
your
aunt.
yeah.
Not too much. But the cat would really hurt.
Fucking right, dude. My cats are like 15 years old.
You know, but I didn't use through all them deaths.
So, well, and then I guess another question with your siblings. You said you had 3 siblings.
Yeah.
But you only mentioned 2 of them.
Okay, so yeah, I do have 3 siblings.
Okay, background, yeah.
Yeah, so I have 3 siblings. I have 2 sisters. One is in recovery. The other one, she lives in Nashville, Tennessee. They moved down there. Really awesome city.
It is a great
it's
city.
nice down there. So they wind up moving down there. Actually, she just celebrated her 39th birthday. Then I have another sister, Lamb Chop, Melissa.
Lamb Chop.
Then
We'll get her. We'll get
Great
Melissa.
name.
Yeah, Lamb Chop. Yeah, she'll tell you how she got the name if you
Yep.
get her on the show.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And my brother, he's deceased. So yeah, 3 siblings, 2 sisters, and I had an older. They're all older than me. I'm the youngest.
Okay, so
Did
you're the
Nashville
baby.
sister use 2?
No, she never went down the path that we went down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess my question here is, you have a lot of, addiction in the family. So have you thought about doing any of the, like adult children of alcoholics or just any of that other stuff? Because or Al-Anon or Nar-Anon, because you have the, tangential, like, I have to deal with these fucking people all the time.
Yeah.
So,
But the good news is I didn't really share this. My mom, she don't go to no 12-step fellowship, but
she's doing better.
Yeah, she hasn't drank in many years. And so what made my sister entered the process, she was, smoking weed, and she wind up stopped smoking weed because of the power example that we set. And she was like, if my kids are doing this, I could do this too. So my mother, she's sober today. She doesn't go to 12-step fellowships unless it's my anniversary or my sister's anniversary. So
Rad, man.
yeah, and my sister, she's in recovery. So it's really not, I'm not really not affected.
Does she have more time than you?
No, she has, I believe, 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 years. She has 2 years. But she made it back. She went back out, made it back. But she's probably the reason that I'm here today. Her and Mike taking their time out and carrying the message to me. 12-step call.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rad.
All right. I know, so you didn't talk about this, but I know your story a little bit. So you've gone through a recovery with your like your physical health as well.
Yes.
Your body health. So,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, so, around here, there's a saying, we put down the spoon and pick up the fork. And so eating was a way for me to take myself outside
That
of
might
myself.
be the title.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking good.
Put down the spoon, pick up the fork.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah, so what happened was I was, when I was going through feelings and emotions and I didn't know how to cope with them, I would pick up the Ben & Jerry's. Good old Ben & Jerry's.
Hell yeah. What's your favorite flavor?
Half-baked.
Half-baked? All right.
But my new flavor is, it's a newer flavor, is the Boston cream pie.
Boston cream pie is delicious. I just had it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it has like a
So
chocolate
good.
on top.
Ooh, yeah.
And so I gained a bunch of weight. I was up to about 300 pounds. I'm about 5'7", 300 pounds. And what happened was I wasn't feeling right for a while. I knew something was off. But me, I'm the type of person to put off,
We're addicts.
Yeah, like I don't want to go to the doctor. Like, I don't need a doctor. So what happened was I was at my really good friend's house, and he is a diabetic. And I just asked him out the blue. I was like, hey, could you check my sugar for me? And what happened, my sugar was in the high 500s. And he was like, man, you have diabetes. You need, and immediately I called and made an appointment. And I already knew I had diabetes just from that high reading.
Because Melissa has it as well, right?
She's type 1.
She's type 1. Yeah.
Since I would say
So it's 12. In the family, dude.
Yeah, 12 or 13 type 1 diabetes. But also both of my grandmoms had type 2 diabetes. My paternal grandmother, my dad's mother, she passed as a direct result of diabetes complications. And so I knew I had to do something about it. So I need to make some changes in my life because I don't want to die from this. I don't want to lose my vision. I don't want to lose my toes and my feet and my limbs.
Yeah. Survive heroin and fucking sugar takes me out.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
And so I started making some
Sugar's a hell
changes.
of a drug, man.
Sugar is a hell of a fucking
So I would
drug.
say I lost probably, I'm about 220 now. So I would say close to 80 pounds over the last 4 years.
Hell yeah, man.
And I'm still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Sugar, I've been doing pretty good with it, managing it. But, my goal is to get to a place that where I don't have to depend on any medications. And I actually was there, when I became a vegan. I did it for the purposes.
Oh, nice.
Plant-based diet.
Hear that? You hear that, motherfucker?
And it dramatically changed my health.
I'm not hating.
Yeah. So I did it more I'm love animals.
I'm a carnivore. Leave me alone.
But I watch a lot of YouTube and I watch a lot of alternative medicine, Eastern medicine. And they were like, diabetes can be healed. This guy's like a doctor just from eating raw vegetables.
Shit can be like totally.
Yeah.
My dad got a stent put in, and like he went vegan. And like now his cholesterol's normal.
Yeah.
It was like he was about to have a fucking heart attack. And now it's
Exactly.
Like, it's normal.
And what happened was, I wasn't going to do the raw vegetables as the guy on the YouTube.
The raw vegan, that's hard,
John
man. Yeah.
Bergman, Dr. Bergman. So he's like he's a doctor on there. Great show. But I said what I would do, because I watch a lot of documentaries too about plant-based diets and how they could dramatically change your health. And I was like, I'm going to try this. Yeah. It was tough. It was super tough. But
cheese is hard.
Yeah, cheese is hard. Ice cream.
What was the hardest for you, I guess? Which one?
Probably chicken.
Chicken.
I'm not a huge beef eater. I don't really care for beef unless it's like a cheesesteak, but I'm the type of person that would go to a steakhouse and get something with chicken. Like I go to Outback and I'll
get the Alice Springs chicken.
Yeah, or the crackling chicken. No, what is bloomin' chicken. It's like kind of like the bloomin' onion batter
chicken.
With chicken, yeah. It's called bloomin' chicken.
I didn't know they had that.
Yes.
Is that new? What is that?
It's been for a couple years. Yeah, I've been
the bloomin' chicken.
Bloomin' chicken. So it's like kind of like
how
a
can
batter.
we make this more unhealthy? Let's deep fry it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that fucking America.
And so what happened was, I would say in a period of 3 months, from going to 100% plant-based diet, my health dramatically changed.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I went to a place where I was almost not diabetic. They were classified as pre-diabetic. My A1C level, within 3 months, my cholesterol went to normal. I lost about 40 pounds. And it just like dramatically changed my health. But the problem is a person that doesn't really like to cook and a person that's always on the run.
That's hard.
I found myself just like Lay's potato chips because they're technically,
Vegan.
plant-based. Yeah. They're not really good for you though.
Yeah.
And I would just do like, still eating unhealthy. And what happened was eventually pick meat back up and yeah.
You're off the train.
Yeah, off
It's
the
okay.
train.
We always are welcoming people back. It's okay.
Yeah, definitely. But the thing is, I like vegetables more than I like meat.
Nah, dude, I feel you. Like,
Yeah, I
a
love-
good like cauliflower steak is way better than like a regular steak.
I never had
in my
that. I have to
opinion.
try that.
Oh, it's good.
Cauliflower steak?
I had cauliflower chicken wings.
Sounds
well, cauliflower wings.
Dude, cauliflower
I've had
wings
cauliflower
are the
wings.
shit.
They're not
yeah,
bad.
buffalo
Yeah.
cauliflower
Yeah.
wings.
Or
Yeah.
like mashed cauliflower, I can do that.
Rice
I'm all
cauliflower.
about
You can
that.
do all sorts of great stuff with cauliflower.
Yeah, I used to go to a place that was like a lifesaver because I used to work at a veterans homeless shelter at the Baltimore station.
Oh, cool, dude.
Great program, great organization. They help a lot of veterans, that are suffering from homelessness. But there was a place in Cross Street Market. They remodeled it and it was called Gangster Vegan.
Was it soul
That's
food
awesome.
vegan? Because I love soul food.
Yeah,
vegan.
soul food vegan.
Fuck
They had
yeah.
the place, couple of them in Baltimore. I can't remember the names.
It's called Gangster Vegan. I might have to
Gangster
find one
Vegan.
there.
I don't know
Google
if they're still in, but they had like these bowls.
Gangster
like-
Vegan, if you're looking for to sponsor somebody, you can sponsor Podcast Recovery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they're still open. They're on Charles Street.
They're on Charles Street now. Okay,
Yeah.
so they moved. They were in Cross Street Market, but highly recommend that
that
place.
place looks dope.
It was so good. They had like these brown rice bowls, and they have like a taco version, and they have a Mediterranean version. And
yeah.
and that place, really helped me, getting to eating the vegan lifestyle. And
Well, they're all about those wellness shots too. I realized like a lot of like the soul food type places, they do a lot with the juices.
Because our relationship with food, like just like you said,
Yeah.
like putting down the spoon, picking up the fork, like our relationship with food is something that most people we don't even think about, but it's it's another part to recovery for sure.
Well, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, you can't just start eating like shit.
Yeah.
and then like, I don't know.
All right, real quick, fun question. You got to. What's your favorite vegetable?
My favorite vegetable.
I know mine.
I like a lot of vegetables.
David's gonna pick something stupid.
But I really like cauliflower.
cauliflower's
Cauliflower is good,
That's solid.
but I had a bad experience with cauliflower as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, so what happened, we used to go down to Eastern Shore a lot, and so my mom bought some cauliflower from a produce stand, local produce stand from the Eastern Shore, and it had a worm in it. So she cooked it, and I went to eat it, and it had the worm, and I was like, I'm not eating this
That's
stuff
why I
no
don't
more.
eat tomatoes. That's why I don't eat tomatoes anymore.
But I
I've
love
like bitten into.
I bit into a raw tomato and it was full of ants when I was a kid.
Wow.
No, I couldn't do it. I used to eat tomatoes like they were apples, and then I bit into one that was full of ants, and I freaked out, and I've had traumatized from it.
Yeah, but I love cauliflower.
Yeah, cauliflower's solid.
Yeah.
Fun fact about cauliflower: did you know cauliflower, broccoli, kale,
hate
and Brussels sprouts?
Brussels sprouts are great.
And I can't. There's two more. They're all the same plant.
Wow.
They're all the same plant. Yeah, it's
Kale
like-
is disgusting.
It's like 6. I like kale.
I'm not a fan.
So, what's your favorite vegetable?
Mushrooms.
Mushroom. That's not a vegetable.
Okay, fine. We'll take fungi out of it.
Yeah, that's not a vegetable, dude.
Then it's.
That's a completely separate
I know
living
you hate
organism.
you hate mushrooms so much.
I'm coming around.
Okay, good.
I'm working on it.
Now I have to make a different choice. It's probably going to be cauliflower. Then.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's so versatile.
So you said I was going to pick a stupid choice. What do you think my stupid choice would be?
I think not stupid, but something like bok choy. Like you'd be different.
Oh
just to
no,
be
I'm not that
different.
bougie. No, I love asparagus.
But bok choy is good. Asparagus is great.
Love
asparagus on the grill.
Oh, grilled asparagus is
It's
so
like
fantastic.
fire.
Yeah, and I've gotten Magnus onto it. He's coming around on
Because
asparagus.
I like char mine a little bit.
Oh
so
yeah, you
it's
got
like,
to.
You know.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
But I hate the end part of asparagus.
What?
Like the shitty part of asparagus. Like
Hard.
there's like the good part.
You're
and then
supposed to
there's the
snap
chewy.
it.
I know, but sometimes
It gets
you
a
don't
little. It
always,
can get a little woody.
You can get a little bit,
All right.
chewy.
Okay.
All
Off to the
right.
body health. What you got,
So
Eric?
my questions. So you were brought up as a Catholic, and
always goes
I'm
for the Catholic question.
assuming you were in Celebrate. Were you in Celebrate for a while when you were talking about like being like kind of God
No.
fellowshippy? But
So I was in a place called Teen Challenge.
Teen Challenge.
Teen Challenge, even though it's for adults. Now they call it Adult and Teen Challenge. It's more of a faith-based pathway.
Okay.
They don't really recognize the 12 steps or, or anything like that. But it definitely probably kept me alive.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Those things
it
are.
worked for a while.
So what's your relationship like now with Catholicism or with God or with whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, so I'm not a Catholic.
Are you a recovering Catholic?
Yeah, so, I never
You
was.
guys have the guilt and shame thing, which is like bullshit.
Yeah.
So like that's one of the reasons I don't want my daughter to be raw Catholic. I don't want her to feel bad about things.
Yeah.
Like just because she's Catholic.
No.
So more, I would say, I do have a lot of the same belief system. My belief system has changed throughout the years to a more spiritual approach. I don't go to church or anything like that anymore. But I have a relationship with my higher power, connection. I pray, I meditate. But even though I was brought up in the Catholic Church, was never had my first communion. I was just baptized, and we would go there for summer camp or just here and there.
Vacation Bible schools were pretty dope as a kid.
Yeah, they had
Pretty dope.
Yeah, they had a very good summer camp. Unfortunately, because of what was going on in the Catholic Church, they had to shut it down. Because of false allegations or real allegations because of the media attention. People might have been like, "Oh, that was me." Try to get a payday, but a lot of that stuff,
definitely happened.
Oh yeah,
for
dude.
sure.
There's reasons that Keo isn't open anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
my fun story, fun fact, my mother was in Seton Keo when that was going on.
Oh shit,
Dude, you're like the third person we've had on the podcast. We're like,
Yeah.
my because Carly's aunt or mom was at Keo as well when all that was going down.
Yeah, so my mom actually has, they have
Keepers.
school. Yeah,
Yeah.
on the show The Keepers. My mom, she is not on there, as one of the guests.
Victims, yeah.
Yeah, she's on there, her picture. It's a couple pictures on there.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so she has like the Beatles haircut because the Beatles
Yeah.
were huge,
Yep.
and
Yep.
she had like a
60s.
Beatles, like a '60s Beatles, and she was actually up there. She never had any experiences with that guy, but
Yeah.
she told me like she could sense something. He just wasn't right. Well, yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah, when I watch that, so I live about maybe a quarter mile from St. Augustine Church in Elk Ridge, and like there, have you watched that documentary yet?
not yet.
Dude, watch The Keepers.
to.
It's crazy because it's all stuff we recognize.
Well, it's the same as like listening to what is it? Fucking Sinead.
Sinead O'Connor.
No, the
What?
big one, the
Who?
Serial. Like listening to Serial. You've listened to Serial, the podcast.
No, I have no idea what you're talking
Are you
about.
joking?
No. Anyway, moving
Oh
on.
my god!
But anyway, I live right next to St. Augustine Church, and that's where he was transferred from Keo to St. Augustine. I was like, oh my god, that's right there. It's just creepy as
Wait,
shit.
how have you never listened to Serial?
I haven't. Have you?
You know about the case, like the Woodlawn case.
Lincoln Park.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
Saeed,
yes.
Yeah.
It was like Lincoln Park, and
Yeah.
the body was found. Yeah, the girl.
Yeah.
Because like the porn store that's mentioned where the guy worked is like the porn store like
It's a Pack Shack?
It's Pack Shack.
Oh, shit, really?
F&M. Like you remember where F&M used
Yeah, I
to be in
remember F&M.
Catonsville?
Fucking right, I
Yeah,
remember
where
F&M.
now it's St. Agnes. Like
My family lived at F&M. F&M and Kmart was our thing.
I liked F&M. I miss F&Ms.
I miss Kmart. Those good times. All right.
Yeah, I don't really miss Kmart.
All right. Working in recovery. You didn't talk about it, but I know you do. Pros and cons. Like what are the difficulties and what are the ultimate rewards? of it?
Yeah. So for me, the ultimate reward is seeing someone make it. Seeing someone, the life changing process from when they first come in. For me, one of the cons was as a person that lost my brother and found my brother overdosed is when because I worked in an environment, my first recovery job since I got clean this time. I worked at a homeless shelter environment.
Nice.
And it was a lot of overdosing.
Yeah.
And it was like experiencing and cutting scars coming back open and the traumatic experiences that was really affecting me and it really affected my mental health.
Yeah.
And I always had if I always had the fear of walking in the room and finding it again. Oof. And it was at that moment I was like, I need to make a job change. So I was like, why not go back and work at the place where it all started for me? And so actually it was like I was hanging out with a buddy I went through Turk House with, still close friends today, my buddy Pablo. And we were like, hey, Miss Diaz just wants to, see how we're doing. So we wound up going in her office and she wound up giving me like a job interview, informal job interview. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, we got a position open, place called the Howard House. It's not here, but it's in Howard County. And I was like, okay. And so for a while, they couldn't offer me the hours that I needed. I needed at least 40 hours because, we have to pay bills, car note, stuff like that. But I wound up going down there and really awesome program. Mr. Al runs a very good program.
It's still Mr. Al?
Still Mr. Al. Mr. Al's still there. Whew. And it was like serene.
Yeah.
It wasn't all that stuff I was dealing with. I never dealt with no overdose there. There was deer out there. It was a beautiful view. And it was like my mental health got better.
Yeah.
Just from changing my job and being in something that's taking all my energy and sucking the life out of me. I'm very grateful for that place I used to work for because I learned so much. I learned so much how to, show compassion. Because what I was finding out is I used to become angry with people. If they didn't come to group or if they didn't make their bed. And I used to look at it as disrespect. Like these people were disrespecting me. So I went down one day. I went down to the assistant clinical director, Mr. Paul. He's still down there today. Went down to visit him the other day. And he was like, Pat, he says, we're trying to get unmanageable people to become manageable.
That's the title.
No, we already have the title.
Yeah, so unmanageable people to become manageable. And then I really started seeing things through a different lens, through his help. And he was like, a lot of these people were experiencing traumas. And they did teach us like a trauma-informed approach. Yeah. And I was like, this isn't going to work. These people don't know what they're talking about. Like, this is the way to do it. But I was open-minded. And it truly changed my outlook working with people in human services, people coming from homelessness, people coming from addictions. A lot of us have traumas.
Oh, yeah.
And how am I going to sit there and yell and scream at somebody that might have had a childhood where they were getting yelled and screamed at? Yelled and screamed at. And or they've really showed me a whole different approach called trauma-informed care. And once I started utilizing that, it was like, it kind of became easier for me to interact with people. And, people see that you care. But yeah, so I was at the Turk House, Howard House. I was with them for a couple years and the opportunity came up for a place that's 4 minutes from my house. Like literally Perfect. 4 minutes. And I have a very good job. I work for a place called Rising Above Behavior Health. Amazing program in Baltimore. They truly care, and I really see that. And it's like we're a family, and we help a lot of people. And when I really started believing in this place, I was like, is when people didn't have assurance, and they were letting them stay anyway. Because they couldn't get assurance. Yeah. And they didn't say, well, we'll give you 2 weeks, then you have to find somewhere else. They were like, of course it's about, you need the money to keep it running. But,
so they're doing sponsorships though, like they're able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm a resource coordinator. So basically what I do, I help people, Social Security. I'm going through a process called the SOAR process, helping individuals apply for Social Security, and learning about like the whole process of it, how everything works, and what to send them, and the best way for them to get approved. And I built relationships with them, MVA, for individuals to get their identification cards, because what happens is when we're out there in active addiction, we lose everything.
Yeah. You get your wallet stolen in Tijuana.
Yeah, and they did try to buy like 2 MacBook computers.
With your card?
Yeah, with my card.
Those bastards.
But luckily, I didn't have a bunch of money back then, so it's declined.
Yeah, they swipe it. No bueno.
Yeah, but yeah, so I really like that. And I'm in IT. I did go to school for that. And I have the ability to teach computer literacy. Actually, today, when I leave here,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I go teach just basic Windows, and I do like a little, talk about the different scams that are out there. Protecting your network. Don't make your password dog123 or use your phone number. Little things like that.
Just the basics.
Yeah, just the basics. Yeah.
My grandmother got scammed, or almost got scammed yesterday on the phone.
The older generation, dude, they're getting catfished so bad.
And it's like
I'm a Nigerian
the person
prince.
knew. Well, not that. It was like they were pretending to be me. They do it to her like at least once a year, and they're just like, "This is Eric. I'm in jail, and I need And it's just she's like. I'm like, I would never call this grandmother for money. My other grandmother's rich. This grandmother has nothing. And it's just like, man, stop fucking with her. You know?
Yeah, they're getting so crafty.
They're getting super good.
Yeah, so I had experience. So a guy, he's a friend of mine. I know him in real life. So someone hacked his Facebook page, and they tried to hack mine through this method. So basically what happened was they actually recorded the conversation with him. So when I called him, because I was like, this doesn't sound right, they were like, I need help resetting my password. And he's a real good friend of mine. So I was like, okay, let me see if this is real. And I called him on Messenger. And the crazy thing was, I was actually talking to him, but it was a video of the scammer recorded with him. And so basically how they do it is they say, well, I can't get into my Facebook. Can you help me reset my password? This is the number one way of Facebook's or social media is being hacked. Then you give them your phone number, then they use your phone number to reset the password. Send the code to your phone, and you think it's for them, but they're actually resetting your password, and now they're in your Facebook or any social media. And that's how they do it. So I teach little things like that. There's so many scams out there.
It's a great podcast. You're learning about fishing, body health, vegetables, how to protect your network. Dude, this is fantastic.
I really enjoy that. I do a little consulting here and there, in-home consulting. I don't do no commercial stuff. So I do, receive some income from that.
Yeah.
But I don't do too much of it because, money is not everything. You need money, but time is something that you can't get back once it's spent. I can always get more money. So, it's been balancing things, balancing my recovery and sponsorship and work and free time and hobbies. I had to really learn to balance.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What you got, Eric?
All right. So this will be my last question. Because and it's not really a question, it's more of a topic for us to kind of discuss, but H&I, right? So I used to lead H&I, years before you were here.
You got me in H&I.
Yeah. And you got the shit, you got the worst one, dude. You had the fucking brats.
I loved it. I loved
you
it.
did not love it.
I did
the whole time. The kids. The kids were rough.
It's difficult.
The kids were
It's
rough.
difficult. I had the adolescents at Mountain Manor.
Yeah.
Little fuckers.
It's tough,
man.
It is very tough.
And I'm sorry, you guys are little fuckers. They are.
Yeah.
But I had the H&I commitment for Shepard Pratt for years, and years and years. And then I remember, because you're talking about sharing stuff in there and then reaching people, right?
Yeah.
How that guy reached you. I remember doing one and sharing in Carroll County. What's the place out in Carroll?
Shoemaker,
yeah. I remember sharing about like my eating disorders and just having one kid just come up and be like a guy and just be like, I've never heard anybody share about that. So like, what's like some of those experiences like where you went up to a guy and were like, you're my shot at hope, where there's like these people where half the room doesn't give a fuck, but you've touched one person who's like, you know what, your message is the message that I'm leaving here with.
Absolutely. You get that. You basically, I give my phone numbers out to the guys, and sometimes they call, and sometimes they call while they're in there, and
really?
I was able to, pick guys up for meetings. I said, when you get out of here, if you're in the area, not too far, like last guy was like in Frederick, Maryland. So I wound up going up there.
Yeah.
They have cool meetings though.
Yeah, they have meetings up there.
They have great meetings.
Yeah. So, but I also had guys call me up to break them out. I had one guy call me up and was like, hey, listen, I need you to come get me. I'm like, what? I said, I can't do that.
Did you hear the message, man?
Yeah. He was like, you're my sponsor. I need you to come break me out.
You're my sponsor now.
Yeah. I'm like, we didn't even talk about
I'm your
this.
counselor. Those are two different things, motherfucker.
Yeah. So, but it's always good to see someone come up to you and say, man, I remember you from Shepard Pratt is my H&I. I'm a panel coordinator for Wednesdays.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I was with them when they were at the Tyler Manor up there, College Avenue, where it was like,
is it still up at College Avenue?
No,
they moved it?
They moved it to Elk Ridge, which is a
right by my
beautiful
house.
facility.
Wait.
So I actually did. So all the security and the cameras in there, I put those in.
So wait, what happened to the one in Ellicott City? Do they not have it anymore? That
They
place is
sold
serene
it.
as shit.
Yeah, they sold it.
They probably made bank.
Yeah, so the Tyler family did sell it. And
is Howard House still there, or did they?
No.
move too?
So I'm gonna tell you a crazy story. So one of my last times doing H&I up there, I think I did it. It was a Saturday or Sunday, and I did it for Mike McF. And so we're coming back out, and they're burning the Howard House down. And they use the Howard House as training
for firefighters.
Yeah. So last I heard is they were going to build houses, and
I'm sure
they're going to develop it.
They're going to develop the shit out of that place. I mean, dude, that was like that property is worth.
They're going to put
millions.
They're going to put.
Yes.
They're going to put McMansions up there.
Like that was our burn run roads when we were kids, because I grew up in Catonsville, and like there was nothing on that road except for Shepard Pratt, and then like there was the creepy house.
That was
at
Seven
the
Hills.
End, and Seven Hills.
Yep,
the Hell House.
Yeah,
that's
the Hell House is there. There was like, there was just not many stuff.
I fucking me and a roommate of mine at the time flew a GTI off Seven Hills into the woods. Smacked a tree.
That's where you played the game, right? That's where you played the triple and the quadruple. And you
tried to get air.
We tripled. Yeah. I think I never quadrupled, but I've tripled my speed limit.
Dude,
because we got up to 75. Nuts. I never went over 100.
All he did was he was. I was like, "What are we gonna do?" He's like, "I'm taking these VINs." I mean, he literally took a screwdriver, popped the VIN numbers off the fucking vehicle, took the plates, and we were like, "We're fucking out of here." And I was like, "All right, cool." We just fucking left it there.
I mean,
it's probably still there.
Everybody
came back 2 days later. Now they were like craning it out.
Everybody tried to get air off the.
We did, dude.
We did too.
He souped up a GTI and he fucking gunned it at like 70. I was like, "Oh my god, how am I alive?"
Yeah, I actually know a guy that's paralyzed from Seven Hills.
Really?
Yeah. He was younger, and he is currently still paralyzed today from a bad accident on Seven Hills.
Yeah,
so you guys are fortunate.
Burn run's gone bad.
So more information out there, everybody. Drive safely.
Don't get high and drive.
Yeah. Yep.
Like,
not cool.
I don't know why that was so cool in high school.
I
guess there was nowhere else to go.
What else What are you gonna do?
It was like you either had the woods or a car. The car had music. So.
So, all
right.
All right. Last question for me. You talked about, and this is a common theme for all addicts. We feel insecure, inadequate, low self-worth, low self-esteem. What's been the process to building your self-worth, man?
For me is, through the 12 steps, I seek therapy early on in recovery, therapist, and I kind of got away from that, and but it's just about self-reflection and finding myself and and people believing in me until I start really believing in myself. Through a lot of self-reflection, meditating, I developed meditation, going out in the woods. I love hiking.
And
through other people that dealt with it, and I've seen, them change their life around as far as their mental health, self-esteem issues. And I really love myself today. So it was like a process of developing self-love because for many years I didn't love myself. And I used to put my body through crazy things and stick needles in me and shoot gutter water and insanity. And so, it's just through years, time. It takes time. It just doesn't happen. And I had to find out myself without any chemicals, drugs or alcohol. And, for many years, that was my confidence. And so when I entered the process of recovery and all these chemicals are out of my body, and I didn't really know how to be me.
Yeah.
I could remember my first wedding. My cousin got married and they were up there dancing. And I was like, I can't go up there and dance because I used to have at least three beers or 2 couple shots up in me to build that confidence, But I was was just sitting there back and just watching them. And I said, I'm just going to go up there. But what I did, I waited for him to get all drunk and stuff like that, just in case in my mind, if I
make an ass of yourself,
nobody's going to remember. They're not going to remember that shit.
One thing to think about in those situations is no one's really paying attention to you.
They're not.
Oh, I know.
No one gives a fuck about you.
They don't.
But in your head, you're so much it's better just to go out and have fun.
Yep.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, I had a good time, and so me and my sister, she's in recovery too. So obviously she wasn't drinking as well. So we were I had less than a year clean. So this was kind of my first test.
Yeah.
But I got through it, with help from my sister. And what was crazy, well, it really wasn't crazy, is the next morning, everyone that stayed at the hotel, because we all stayed at the same hotel, the wedding party, all the family, because it was in Charlottesville, Virginia, out on a farm somewhere in a rural area. But we went to breakfast, and they all start coming out, and they were all hungover. And me and my sister was like, we're not feeling like that today. And I actually remembered the whole thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a blackout. And had a good time. And it was at that moment, I started building confidence because I said, if I could do this sober without any alcohol in me, there's no reason I can't do it, without any alcohol.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're about out of time.
That's it, yeah.
But we'd like to thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah, man. And one last quick minute to talk to anybody out there struggling, needs to hear a message of hope. What do you have to say directly to them?
Give yourself a break. Find a new way of life. Ultimately, reach out. There's people out there like us, and there's many other people out there, and they have so many resources today. You can go to,
Smart Recovery,
Celebrate Recovery. There's many different pathways. So if a certain pathway is not for you, find out something that is for you.
Yep.
I found Narcotics Anonymous. That's my people, but I understand it's not for everyone. So there is definitely help out there. There's many peers in every county because there's a change in approach, probably the last 10 years where the peer recovery scene, and there's people out there. There's plenty of help.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty places you can go. It's not like when I first got clean, you had to wait for some people there's a waiting list for a month or 2 weeks. And but now it's you just go ring a bell, Turk House, go ring the bell at the Turk House and Arundel County Fire Department, ring the bell. But find yourself a new way of life. It's so much better over here, on this side.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us. And here at Podcast Recovery, we're aiming to expand the scope of support for recovering addicts. Accessibility and convenience of helpful services is paramount to combating addiction. Like you said, just go ring a bell. And we work to bring the message of recovery to every addict, wherever and whenever it is needed. We believe that a powerful voice of recovery should be obtainable, practical, and at the touch of a button. Every addict deserves to hear a message of hope, and Podcast Recovery is here to provide it. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us once again. Go to all our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, Reddit, YouTube. We have all of them. We're everywhere. Like, share, subscribe, DM us if you want to come on the episode and do an episode with us. And please, donate to our Patreon because we need help keeping the mics on because we are self-supporting. Most importantly, everybody out there, Eric, give me help.
Stay safe and stay clean.